Funny how you're the first person I'm interviewing,
Hilarious.
and only
Hilarious.
about what, 2 minute walk from me right now.
Two, uh, like 5 seconds? Like, why would that take you 2 minutes?
Well, I wanted to pick you though first, just because you're going to be like
Thanks.
the crash test dummy. I can try
Thanks,
you
honey.
first.
Yeah.
How this works out.
Another exciting night.
Yeah. So we should
The
first.
funny thing is the quarantine has made very little difference in our social life.
That's true. That's why I don't think we're going to get the virus though, because nothing has really changed for us. We're still doing the same thing we've always done.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, some things have changed.
Well, I'm not going into work.
That's true. I don't think
My doctor's visits have been taken from the hospital into clinics. It's changed immensely. Grocery stores, going shopping, wearing masks while we go out.
Yeah.
Your business.
Yeah, my business.
You're an active person. Our socializing was at the gym, if that would happen, as much as like our date per se would be going to a gym and working out together. That's not, we can't have that. So yeah, it has changed, of course. Our actual nighttime activities, like our socializing with friends and so on, that's that's the same. Your mom isn't coming over as much.
Yeah, my mom has been coming over a lot. Actually, I don't think she'll be coming over much though now, because she's
like
that age demographic, right, where we have to watch.
Yes, I don't think that will stop.
No, I don't think that'll stop her either. She actually wanted me to interview her tonight on Zoom.
Then why didn't you do that?
I bumped her for you. So she's.
I think you're lying.
No, she really wanted to do it when I said to her.
Then do it. Call your mom.
I don't think we can three-way it tonight, right? I don't even. What's wrong with that? I don't think we can. But you've noticed a big droppage in work, right?
We've never three-wayed. Sorry?
You've noticed a droppage in work since COVID-19?
So I wouldn't say so. My particular industry has come to a basic halt. However, because I do some of crisis management, that I would say that the manner in which we do work has changed.
Okay.
There isn't meetings, there isn't, and because everyone is used to doing it all in a certain manner, fast, go, 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 go. And that office routine, the now here, right this second management of it isn't there. We don't have people running to the banks to be putting in money. We don't have people running to the banks to be taking out money. We don't have clients or needed people at the places of work waiting for us to answer them, so the intensity has gone down, even though it's probably one of the most intensest times in our history, like of the world or of our age demographic.
Very much so, yeah. And
but it's for the general public, except for, we talk about wars and we talk about the different things. And I think we've seen the meme saying like our grandparents went to war and they show the war and all we have to do is sit on the couch. And I think who are soldiers per se of this war are our doctors, our medical staff, and so on. So while we're sitting on our couches or isolating and staying home as we should be, we have a full team of people fighting for us. It's just we aren't giving them the same due, because the bombs that are, again, using the war analogy, coming down to us are invisible. We don't know when they're coming. We don't know who's touched them or who's touched what, and our soldiers fighting are the one that are getting sick, and they are dying for us.
Why do you think people are not taking it as serious right now with the social distancing?
I think it is just that it's not. We've been such a visual age group. We've been so visual in saying like social media, this is the most popular people aren't the thinkers. They're not the greatest people, the greatest minds. They're the best butts. They're the best bodies. They're the neatest, fastest, coolest thing. It's all visual. And it is very hard for us to visually see what's happening. We see things on the news, as we always do. And we are in such bliss in North America with our personal rights, with our healthcare, with our first world necessities being met. Like the joke about finding toilet paper or not, or finding our shelves empty. Well, in many countries, this is a day-to-day life thing. So like that's our first shock. Like we go to the grocery store and we can't get what we need. That's the first shock that we've ever had of anything like that. So that's the little bit that we have, and then we fight to get that one thing back that we've had taken away from us. But everything that's happening, we can't see it. Like unless we are getting sick, unless we know someone who's got sick, we can't see it. So nobody's really thinking it's the not me scenario. So unless you're going into the hospital or you're seeing people generally affected, it's just the disbelief. There's no bomb coming down. There's no noise. There's no nothing right in front of us. Nobody's standing in front of us dying. And that's what people want to see in order to react. They want to see people falling on the street. They want to see this thing. And it's too hard to fathom that it is all just around us.
Now, you mentioned before going to the hospitals, so you've seen this firsthand.
Well, I've seen you mean illness or the change in the hospital?
Hospitals.
Yeah, so it was going from being just a normal regulating hospital, as like much as that is, there's crisis and so on come on forth, but there is a business to the medical business, and there is some organization within that, and then it's gone from being absolutely insane to being ghost towns in the hospitals, depending what ward you're on. Like there'll be one floor where they've had to clear out hospitals of certain staff, of certain necessities. Research isn't being done for certain diseases because they can't have people in the hospital. Like some of our best minds are over a certain age. So they're isolating those people. And I know for me, like we're getting normal treatments or getting, or for others and many different, like whether or not my particular illness or whether or not you're going in for something like dialysis or many different things, like these are all being impacted. You can no longer go into the hospital for these treatments, or if they do, it's a very scary thing for the hospital staff, and there's a way that you have to be conducted. It is a change of life, and it is a change of life for everyone affected by it. And it's more than not being able to go to the gyms or not being able to get your brand of tomato sauce. It's a domino effect of lives being measured, and whether or not you are unfortunate enough to get COVID, and whether or not you're one of the people, maybe you're one of the people that gets it and you survive, and that's a wonderful thing, and we all hope for that for everybody, but it isn't for everybody. And we could be stopping it for everybody by simply standing back.
Do you think there's talk of a lockdown happening in British Columbia? Do you think that's going to happen?
I don't know. I think it will be up to the behavior of people. I think the reason why it's being asked for is because of what's been shown in the past few days. It's a very scary thing to think of our rights being taken away. And it is like the freedom, but it is the behavior of it is truly like, so in what's our population in the Lower Mainland,
No, I'm not sure. I think
Sorry,
I believe it's over 10 million. You're
in
talking
the Lower Mainland.
I'm talking downtown Vancouver.
Yeah, so but I mean within that, so say that there's like 100,000 people acting like dorks, but that's so evident, and what can that 100,000 people spread it around? So it's not everybody, but those actions of a few are really jeopardizing the rest of us. So and that's what will it will be because of the actions of those few. Like we know what's going around. We've been asked to stay inside, but we take an hour walk on the seawall, the most populated area. Like it's there, and okay, I can understand that idea too. Like, okay, it's a nice day, let's see what's out there. But when you see all those people and you still continue to, like, you don't turn around, you don't say go home or go to a different area, you just say, oh well.
it's a slap into the face to the medical community.
Well, to a lot of people, to the government, to um, it's to those suffering, to those staying inside, like to those that are losing their jobs, like, and staying inside, like, and doing what has been told. There's a group of people that have gone fully into quarantine, in order to do whatever, and then you see a multiple family picnic on the park. Like, it's as I said, our soldiers are our nurses, doctors, like first responders, people of all sorts. And then it's sort of like a slap in the face, but like it's making a joke, like the days they're working and what they're going through, and they are willingly having to put themselves into jeopardy on a daily basis. And yes, they do that anyways, but even more so right now.
I mean,
And then we just like having a picnic on the barbecue and all. Like, it is a very frustrating. It's odd, and I know for me, I think that you dealt with me the day that I got back from the doctors and was scared to even get in the cab on my way home. Did you just make fun of me? Did you just laugh at me? And I got back and I was so enraged after seeing multiple restaurants open and nail salons open, and this was Thursday, and it was just like, I'm fully seating people and fully doing whatever, and we all understand business, like we are all gonna suffer. This is gonna hit all of us economically. There's no one that's what, even if you are financially beyond set, which is wonderful, but your portfolio's hit. Everyone's going to get hit from this.
it's very bad.
And it doesn't mean that it is not an easy thing to say, okay, I've got to shut my doors, but it's that action that will.
Well, that's the action that we're going to save mankind and save dying that don't need to die.
Yeah. And it's also gonna, like, I mean, yeah, that is such a great, true, like, to the point sentiment, but even in the smaller thing, saying whether or not we go into lockdown and whether or not that persists for, like, to what extent do we go into lockdown, but we still have the freedom to say, okay, I've got a doctor's appointment, so I go to that, or I choose to go to this grocery store for this right now, during this lockdown, which is acceptable? Or does it go to the, like, do we keep on misbehaving it to say, to the point where we get to somewhere like Paris where we need to have a permit to go to the grocery store? Like, how far are we going to go with this? How far are we going to keep on misbehaving this? And then and the other thing we have to think about is how fortunate we are to have the homes to be locked down in. Like, what about the people that don't have the homes to be locked? Like, we have, uh, yeah,
That's what I was going to get to next.
yeah, and that's, I mean, and there's a multi-pronged issue and multi-pronged solution that has to be looked at there, whether it's hotels, whether or not, I mean, shelters can't house everybody, and there's drug issues, there's mental health issues, and not everybody is going to be able to be housed and stay inside, and this is, as much as people want to roll off or be upset with these people, it doesn't mean that we want those people to die, and that's what they could be looking at, and as well as spreading. So we have our homes, be it and be it a 1-bedroom, and then that you might kill somebody living for 2 weeks together. Hey. Like, it's gonna get weird.
Yeah, but working.
You're cutting in and out, honey. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Working in the downtown east side. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
That's the one thing I noticed now. I mean, there's a huge homeless population down there.
Oh, I disappeared. Oh,
and,
there we go.
I see you. You've seen it down there when you come into my gym, and I mean,
I wouldn't say that you're on the east side. You're not on the east side.
Yes, we are. And
oh, really? When?
There is. And
well, I've also seen the east side other times in my life, but yes. Thank you.
My concern is not those people.
Sorry, honey, you're really cutting in and out.
My concern is for those people.
Yeah. So can you maybe sit closer to the computer when you're talking? Yeah.
It's fun. You're on your phone. which you should never do during an interview.
I'm doing it. Listen, you're the one that asked me for this. You're lucky you're getting it at all.
No, I'm very fortunate. No, okay, so I was going to ask you, do you think there was anything that we could have done as a country to prevent this, or at least be prepared for it?
You mean like prior to I've got I mean that's a but are we gonna cross fingers and say that someone did something wrong? I don't my feelings on that in general, looking back and saying like we can't change the past now.
Right? So we
So
can't.
what's the point? Like it doesn't matter. Like I know when they closed the borders, we talked about this. I was saddened. That is part of who we are. Like I was just we have our borders open. It doesn't mean like we let everybody come on in and have a party in Canada, but we have oh shit.
That's
We have an we have an open we have an open border system. We say like like are you a good person, are you willing to make a life, like what we do look into histories and so on, but we do say come into our country, make a life, this is part of who we are. And the idea of closing borders is like I know that was one of the moments where I was like it really it was such a it was heartbreaking. That's like how I like you living in other countries and living in different times is I always had such pride in saying I was Canadian, and that was at the point where something changed.
right.
Like at that moment, like there was a change.
Yeah.
We lost part of our identity as Canadians, and that's a very sad thing. And looking back and saying what could they have done better, like I don't know, I don't truly know. Um, listen more, but it's what a ridiculous thing to say. Like we we're going to point and wag fingers
Not necessarily.
because none of us saw this like 3 months ago, a global illness.
No, but
We
we
couldn't like
pass, right? So I'm wondering if we could do in the future if you just be more prepared. I'm not saying.
well I mean the last what was the last so I mean yes, we've had SARS and we've had things like this, so I think what we're realizing is that these things are happening again and again and again, and it's not going to be 100. Oh, my phone's dying, honey.
Oh,
It's not going to be 100 years apart. It's going to be um or like thousands of years apart. It's coming more fast and more furious. And whether or not it's you've heard people say like Mother Earth is angry or all these things, but it is the way that we are living and violating. So it's more than a like listen and be prepared. It's a larger action and a larger like it's like saying it's like talking about any problem, any large scale problem, and saying, how are we going to fix it? You say you do this one thing and then it's done. That's not true. It's a problem that takes uh, like as long to fix as it did to start. So it's a matter of reteaching and re-educating, and a slow turn of life. Very few things happen of saying do this now, do this the way it is, because people rebel against that. But a slow change, um and it's more than taking away straws, and it's more than listening to what happens one day ago or 1 month ago in another place. It's a global change, and it's more than environment. It's a whole change, a way of life that we live. And no one religious group, no one way of eating, no one way of living, no one skin color demographic is doing it right or wrong.
And I have a lot of clients who've been emailing me, and as you know, a lot of people have they stopped working out, they have no gyms to go to, and the biggest thing that they're finding right now is they have the anxiety, they have the stress, but now they have no help.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that question of what are they going to do? Can they do home workouts? Can they do their cardio outside? Well, they can, but if they're quarantined, then the workouts have to be inside. And
Yeah.
I know that seems a little bit selfish, thinking, well, you're just talking about being fit where other people are in the hospital. But I mean, this is a mental health for a lot.
Yeah, I don't think it's about, I mean, there's obviously, as I said, such a visual society. So, but I think that as we've talked about it, there is such a state of mental health. And as you know, I have spent time in the hospital about having, one of the things I joke about is hospital bed exercises. And that wasn't a matter of staying fit when you're ill or when there's something. It's a matter of each day having a goal. Each day I'm going to do this. Each day I'm going to do this. This is my thing for this day. This is my goal for this day. And if it's tricep, push-ups on a bed, I'm going to do this many. I'm going to walk back and forth this many times. And it is what you said about mental health, about how you're going to get through each day. And it's whether you call it a goal or whatever you say, but it's about having, we all are sort of creatures of habits. Even when we are the freest spirit of any sort, we still have our habits. And when you're locked in a room, when you're locked in a house, or if you're lucky enough to be locked in a state, you still need certain things to do to get through each day. We're not used to that. And just the idea of having to have this space and this space only, it changes your mindset. So yeah, having some sort of physical activity, because it does, if you're tired enough, if you're exhausted enough, if you can get enough physical exertion, you go to sleep. Like, even if you are a total I'm going the wrong way, I'm thinking narcoleptic, when you can't sleep.
I understand where you're going.
What is that word? What am I looking for? When you can't sleep? Insomniac? But it's, if you cannot exert a certain amount of physical energy, it becomes a mental energy, and you just build up, you build up, you build up. Going about it, I think a lot of people are trying to figure out ways to do it, whether it's lifting up furniture or going around. I think what you're trying to introduce here about talking about it, or whether it's the Zoom workouts, or like finding a plan, like, okay, so like there's a written out plan of these 7 exercises I'm going to do today 3 times. It's a weird thing, but having that little goal, okay, I didn't do it, I only did it 3 times, or I only did it 2 times, I want 3 times, so tomorrow, and we will have it tomorrow, and we'll have a next day of it. So it's all these things, and you add that, like, these little goals all throughout. It's no, it won't be the same as a gym, but so what? Some people don't even, like, it's just a way of exerting some sort of physical exercise, physical activity, to have that sweat, that push that we get, that endorphin high.
Sure.
Things are limited, but
Well, and I get a lot of emails from people, and they're saying, "What do I do? Like, I can't train. Should I just let my diet go? I mean, I can't get the foods I need right now." And I say, I say to them, I say, "Look, I said, not all hope is lost." And I said, you can still move, and you still can follow a relatively clean diet. I know you can't go to the gym. You maybe not even go outside, but at the same time, one of the things I try to get through to my clients is that anything you can do, even if it's push-ups, sit-ups, crunches, whatever it is, just get your body moving. Because
yeah. Well, you were joking about the being in like aerobics or doing whatever, but like, fuck, like someone was joking about Jane Fonda workouts. Like, look at Jane Fonda. Like, I would love to be like Jane Fonda's sitting here fighting for the environment, doing whatever. She's still in incredible shape. Yeah, do a Jane Fonda workout. They're hard. Like, exert that energy.
one of the things I've always said to people is one of the reasons I work out, and I know one of the reasons why you work out, is to strengthen the immune systems. Like,
Yeah.
you want to look good, but at the same time, it's more, especially as we get older, about the health, right? And so I'm a firm believer in the stronger your immune system is, the better chance you have at fighting off viruses that come into your body.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
how many people have to take right now, and forget about the abs and the 6-packs and the glutes and the bum and the booty selfies, and just focus on, hey, I got to make my immune system as strong as possible right now. So I got to get, even if I'm in a 700 square foot apartment, I've got to move.
Yeah. And there's so many, like there are so many different ways of inside. I saw a man he held onto a countertop and he put like I want to say like a soap on the floor. This is not recommended. And he started using it like a treadmill. It was, I mean, it's ridiculous. Don't do that. You're gonna fall and crack your head for sure. But it, like it's just that almost that funny way, like you like jumping rope or jumping jacks, or I mean, there's a million like whatever way. Like again, the Jane Fonda workout, amazing. I might do it tomorrow. Watch out, I have tights in the bodysuit, so it's gonna get fun and it's gonna get weird. Like, but whatever we can do.
I know you gotta go soon, but
I do. I have got to go. I've got places to go, honey. I've got the living room, I've got the kitchen, I've got the bathroom, I've got places to go.
Things to clean tonight too. But
you have things to clean. I'm not cleaning.
A lot of people, and they always ask me, Bobby Sculio, who is she? This girl.
Oh, fudge.
They want to know. They've never seen food like this, and you've seen.
I'm sure they've seen food like it. You've never seen food like it.
I tell all my clients.
You cut your. Is it just me, or you're cutting in and out? Is it just me that has that?
Yeah, I think it's just you. You're on your earphones.
My earphones are good. They're not. Okay. I feel like I've got a lot of chin. Oh look, I'm moving the camera.
Don't move.
Yes, I will put up recipes.
Okay, but first of all, give people a little bit of your background behind your cooking. Just a little bit. So they understand.
I first learned how to cook while I was in high school. We had an Olympic chef teacher. I went on to study it a little bit. I had many years of unhealthy eating in the sense of like wanting to be thin and doing that, like very like sort of skinny eating. I have struggled with my health during this whole time. I got very, very ill. Well, during that process, I did some studying of nutrition, and then through that found ways to cook that let my nutrition show and let my love of food show as well.
And so you're kind of downplaying it, but as someone who does work in this industry, I do know the difference between healthy food and really healthy food. And
yeah.
When I know what you're putting in your food, I'm very confident when I tell clients this is okay to eat. There's no
yeah, I believe, I mean, and I'm saying this not in a silly way. Like, I don't think that if you're extremely ill that having celery in your water can heal you. Like, there's very realistic, like, but sorry, I didn't mean to use like so much. But food can heal you.
Yes.
Or it can fuel you. It can help you. And each food has its own, without getting too, each food has their own property. So the combination of these properties in the right way going into your body can either help or hinder you. And it's your choice. And throughout the day, I think we all help and hinder. But it's like any other scale or ratio. We want to end up higher on the help side. And it's food, I also believe, is a celebration. Every time we eat, it can be you and I eat in different ways. It's more of a celebration for me. Here's this.
Fuel.
Yeah, but we can combine the different things of having that the help while having a celebration. Well, we can get the joy that from the helping foods that we also get from the hindering foods. And that's what I believe in, and I believe in honoring what we eat. I don't believe in that. We don't just negate it. Food is a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful source from the earth. Through the process of learning more about nutrition, through the process of being sick, I feel gratitude to what I eat. If that sounds, I know that's like a totally silly hippie thing, but it's not a matter of opening a can and throwing something into a plate and shoveling it into your body. It's a matter of understanding that it all came from somewhere, that it all had a place of life, and that in turn it's going to help our life. And it's, because you cut down And like when you said healthy and really healthy, it's about adding the right compounds, and also understanding, like, okay, just because we've cut down the oil a little bit, we can't, and we're calling that healthy now. No, that's not, that's just going around a way to make you feel better about having something that's kind of crappy a little bit less crappy.
I, I think there's still a lot of misconceptions behind dietary nutrition. I mean, I'm constantly debunking myths to people and saying, no, that's not true. Here's the actual science behind this food.
Yeah.
Or so focused on macronutrients, and they're not really focused on the micronutrients behind the food.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I try to teach my clients, especially with nutritional plans, is to read food labels and how to read them properly, and not
Mm-hmm.
carbs and fats. Look at the sugar content. Look how much processed chemicals are in the food that you're eating. That type of stuff. Just because something is low fat or no fat doesn't mean it's good. I mean, in fact, it usually means that it's actually pretty bad for you. So
Yeah.
those are things I try to teach people, and it's funny because a lot of people start to work with me primarily because they want to lose weight or they want to build muscle. I have a lot of people that work with me too with IBS, Crohn's, colitis.
I know.
That before, but
yeah, you have an excellent way, just as you do in life. It's a matter of cutting out all the unnecessary, just like you do in life, cutting out all the crap, and then resorting bit by bit. We add back in what works for us and what doesn't. Like, in that philosophy can be put into whatever part of life, whether or not you feel like you're over socialized or unsocialized or whatever, you cut back and you add in. Sometimes those add-ins work, sometimes those add-ins don't work, and you can just go back from there.
So another thing I have is people are asking me, they're saying, why can't we get more recipes from bodies? And then I hold on a second, I have to explain to them, Robyn doesn't make recipes. How does Robyn make her food?
You've seen me, I don't know, you taste test and you go, I'll try to do more rest. It's all by taste and figuring along the way, and it is an understanding from a nutritional background and a cooking background of what, and that appreciation for food. I had my first cooking teacher a long time ago told me that it has to be made with love, and that's how everything should go into your body, is with love. And yeah, that you see me cook, and I'm like, oh, I'll put some of this shit. Sorry, I put some of this and this and this, and it's but it's about reaching for something that what it is, opposed to reaching for what you don't. When you can reach for basil opposed to reach for a pre-made product that you don't know what's in that product, you just feel better about reaching for the basil.
Right. And I think it's important to state too that one of the reasons the way you cook is the way you cook is for your health.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily I need to lose 10 pounds next week or 5 pounds or whatever it is. It's based on your health and how you're feeling that certain day or that.
Yeah, that's correct.
So it's kind of,
I measure what's going on with what my stomach is doing that day.
Sure. Yeah. And I think that's actually important for a lot of people, because as I work with a lot of clients, as they get older, they start allergies, whether it's lactose intolerant or they become allergic to gluten or whatever it is, or they become
gaseous vegetables.
Exactly. And the trick is to kind of go with your body and adapt accordingly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Right. Right. But yes, I'll do more. I get what you're saying. I get yes. I don't think people are going to listen to, we've talked for like 20 minutes, honey. People aren't going to listen this long anyways.
Okay. I know. I just wanted to get that out there. You will be putting more recipes out. Yes.
Yes, honey.
Don't roll
I will. And you're going to be putting out more of your stuff then, because we're at home, and why not?
Content all the time. Now that we're at home, I'm going to be on this thing all the time. So I'm going to be like,
great. But you'll be in your office doing it, and I'll be out here, and it'll be like two different. Yeah, we'll have a bunch of space, so much space.
They renamed it actually. They called it something else today. It's no longer physical distance. It's called something else now. I'll have to check.
Social distancing.
It was social distancing. Oh, that's right. It was social distancing. Now it's physical distancing. So we're
okay.
Okay.
Okay. You stay over there. Apparently, I'm taking. Okay, I don't know what you're saying. I can't hear you.
Oh no, thank you for coming on.
I'm
Okay.
hanging up. Torque. Bye.
That was it.
We're still on.
I know. I'm stopping.
Okay, I just put done speaking.